One of the most famous plays in English literature is being brought to the stage at the Imperial Theatre. Pride and Prejudice is one of the best-known stories written by 18th century novelist Jane Austen. Shelley Smith brings us a behind-the-scenes look at the preparations that bring this story to life.
For it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
That's the first line from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, for which these actors are in the last week of rehearsing. The St. John Theatre Company will perform this 200-year-old story on stage at the Imperial Theatre.
When I heard they were doing it, I said right then and there that I have to be in it. Have to be in it.
Tyler McLennan is a great fan of the British novelist.
Jane Austen's works really adapt well to theatre because they talk about the human condition, and they're things that people can really relate to.
Rehearsals began in late March. Heading into the last week, almost 2 months later, there's a lot of work yet to do. Sandra Bell is a professor at UNB and a huge fan of Jane Austen. She was thrilled to direct this British masterpiece.
I didn't choose to do it. They asked me if I would do it.
Wow.
I thought, absolutely. But it is the biggest cast I've ever directed, and it's the first time I've directed anything for the main stage. So it's been a huge learning experience for me, but well worth it. Well worth all the time and all the energy. Absolutely.
Who's that gentleman over there? A friend of Mr. Mason.
The actors spent a lot of time learning the dances of the 18th century, mostly ballroom dancing, which proved a challenge for some of the male actors. In the story, the dances of that era were the only social events that gave men and women a chance to get to know one another. Three months into rehearsals, the 22-member cast were put through weekend workshops focused on breath and movement to fine-tune their skills. They were also designed to help keep them fresh and relaxed.
Everybody turn away.
Yay!
3 days before the curtain, the company moved into the Imperial Theatre. There was little time left to coordinate all the technical details of the show.
That looks so cool. That's amazing.
So little time left, so much work to do. The set had to be installed, furniture had to find its place, and actors got their chance to get a feel of the stage.
For it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
And the second dance, please.
It was time for the choreographer to fine-tune the dance scenes and the actors to find their positions on stage.
I feel that I can be louder. Is it louder? Yeah. Okay. Miss Bennett, I've heard so much about you. I feel that I know you already. Louder. Really? Okay. Yeah. I play the piano a little and the harp hardly. Louder. I'm not kidding.
Okay. My most humble apology.
No offense has been taken, Mr. Collins.
Pride and Prejudice tells the story of the Bennet family who must marry off at least one of their 5 daughters. Otherwise, social etiquette dictates with no sons to inherit, their estate will go to a male cousin. In this case, an apologetic Mr. Collins.
It's given me much uneasiness, and so I wish to extend the olive branch, which I hope you will not reject.
I love the story. Now, Mr. Collins is an interesting character. He's a lot of fun to play. He is kind of a comic relief role, but he is also emblematic of a lot of the social structures of the time. Plus, he just falls down a lot, and it's hilarious.
I've never got to play the bitch before. So
Jane Bennett is a sweet girl, but her illness is most inconvenient. If I was to be invited to visit Pemberley, I would be more considerate, Mr. Darcy.
So this was quite lovely. She's a very delicious character.
That's awesome.
She's the young bitch and I'm the old bitch, and we're having a wonderful time.
Awesome.
What are you talking? Let me hear what it is. Speak loud so that I may have my share of the conversation. It's such a juicy role, and one never gets to insult anyone else because because it's, very offensive. But Lady Catherine doesn't mind saying what she thinks. Thank you. Good evening.
I actually didn't try out for Bingley originally. I was trying out for Mr. Wickham, and then Sandra actually asked me if I would try out for Mr. Bingley. So I did, and I ended up really enjoying the character. And I think it is a lot like me, and it's nice to be happy and fun on stage, and still somewhat sweet as well.
It's kind of intimidating, playing a character that a lot of people know really well and have an idea of in their minds. Hopefully the story feels fresh to them, even if it's something that they know really well. And plus I get to wear really fun clothes.
Awesome.
Really fancy.
Will you do me the great honor of becoming my wife?
This story has a happy ending as 3 of the 5 daughters wind up engaged, leaving the future of the Bennet family in good hands. Pride and Prejudice will be performed on the Imperial Theatre stage Wednesday through Saturday, May 15th to 17th. For ACFA News, I'm Shelley Smith.